Ethan should have been dead by now. Again. That was the first thought that hit me as I watched him stroll across the crosswalk, coffee in one hand, that stupid half-smile on his lips. A car would screech out of nowhere in exactly 4 seconds. Just like last time. And the time before that. And the 50 times before that. I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake him and make him understand. But every time I tried, the loop dragged me back 24 hours earlier before the accident. Before the kiss. Before the truth spilled out of me like an open wound. The first time I met him, it was nothing cinematic. Just a bookstore in Brooklyn. He was standing in the poetry aisle, mouthing the words as he read. There was something about the way his lips moved, like every line was a confession, that made me stop breathing. I was a stranger then, and strangers aren't supposed to stare like that. But Ethan caught me looking and didn't look away. Now, months or loops later, I knew every detail about him. How he hated the crust on sandwiches. How he tapped his fingers 3 times before answering the phone. How he tilted his head to the right whenever he was pretending to listen. And, most painfully, how he died. I had tried everything to stop it. Warn him. Stay away from him. Shadow him like a bodyguard. Once, I even shoved him out of the way before the car could hit him, only to watch him slip on the wet curb and break his neck instead. The loop didn't care. It wanted him gone. It was the 51st loop when I snapped. "Ethan!" I yelled across the street. He turned, coffee sloshing over his wrist, startled by my voice. People stared, but I didn't care. I ran to him, grabbing his arm so hard he winced. "You're going to die today," I said, my voice shaking. "Don't cross that street." He laughed. Actually laughed. "What are you, some kind of psychic?" "Yes," I said, because it was easier than explaining the truth. He studied me, his green eyes narrowing. "And you know my name because?" "I've known you for months." I swallowed hard. "But you don't remember me. You never do." Something in my tone must have convinced him I wasn't joking, because he didn't pull away. Instead, he let me lead him to a bench, where we sat in awkward silence. I could feel the heat from his arm against mine, a reminder of everything I had lost and was about to lose again. The rest of the day felt stolen, like smuggling sunlight in your pocket. We wandered through Central Park, ate greasy pizza, talked about things that didn't matter, favorite songs, childhood fears, the way winter feels heavier in the city. But every time I glanced at the clock, my stomach tightened. By nightfall, we were standing outside his apartment. I didn't want to go in. I didn't want to say goodbye. "Why are you really here?" he asked, leaning against the doorframe. "Because I'm tired of watching you die." The words came out harsher than I meant. He stared at me for a long moment, then stepped closer. "Then stay. Just for tonight." Inside, the world felt softer. We sat on the couch, knees brushing, the air between us charged. I wanted to kiss him. I wanted to tell him everything, that I'd fallen in love with him over and over, that every loop had been torture without him, that I would burn the whole city down if it meant saving him. But I didn't. Instead, he reached for my hand. "I don't know why, but I feel like I've known you forever," he whispered. My throat tightened. "You have. It should have been enough. It should have been the perfect moment to let it be. But perfection doesn't stop a loop." And at exactly midnight, the world went dark. And I woke up in my bed, 24 hours earlier. I slammed my fists into the mattress, rage boiling under my skin. How many more times? How many more before I lost him for good? This time, I didn't follow the script. I found him in the bookstore again, but instead of pretending to browse, I walked straight up to him. "You're going to think I'm insane, but you have to trust me." Ethan blinked, startled. "UK? We've met before. We've done this before. And I'm not letting it end the same way." Over the next hours, I told him everything. The loops, the deaths, the little details only he should know. His disbelief cracked slowly, like ice under the sun. By evening, he wasn't questioning me anymore, was holding my hand as we walked along the river, the city lights scattering on the water. "Maybe," he said softly, "we can find a way to break it together." I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to. But the clock was ticking. When midnight came, I braced for the reset. Except it didn't happen. Ethan smiled at me in the dark. See? Maybe you just needed someone to believe you. I stared at him, heart pounding. You mean this is it? This is real. He squeezed my hand. Looks like we finally made it out. For the first time in months, I let myself breathe. And then I kissed him, slow and certain, knowing that this time, the world wouldn't steal him away. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.